now.
Hey guys, we're back with another episode of the Power Effects. We're going to dive deeper into advanced tools. We kind of went beginner tools and how to get in the trade and stay in the trade. Now we're going to go into how to be much more efficient and dive deeper, kind of more like owning your own company or making the big bucks. Got anything, Shawn?
Yeah, I think we should definitely dive into this because some apprentices as you know, when you're first starting out, you can't afford to survive. So you got to do side work and stuff. So some of these tools they
Oh
should
yeah.
also purchase or borrow if the contractor will allow them to. I've had contractors would allow me to borrow some tools if I needed, as long as I brought them back nice and good condition. They should also have the apprentices trying to make some extra money on the side. You know. By the way, this is Shawn Quinn from Tech Train Solutions. Oh yeah. So
Jake Price does it.
right. So with that, I just think apprentices should have this, and maybe some of them, not all of them, certain ones. I'm looking at the list. Maybe a homeowner who does their own work should have. There's further down the list that I have. I'll show you which one I think of. So let's begin, man. Tell us what you found researching or from your workplace. What tools are you talking about today?
So for me in particular, my list, I was all commercial industrial. So I
Okay.
used power tools every day. I used benders every day. So kind of like that pathway. So for me, I started with the Greenlee Bender series, or even Husky has them now, I think. Southwire has them. They have like the manual hand benders, but Greenlee is my go-to. The ratcheting 1800 series bender. I use that just about every day of my career when I was in commercial industrial.
Okay.
I use it now. I use it now. Kimberly Clark,
Is
the
that the
smart bender, the eight.
1800? 1800 is what you're
Yep,
talking
the
about?
1800.
The ratchet?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the ratcheting manual bender. Has a bending dial on it for the degrees. I use that day in and day out.
Okay.
Miles and miles of conduit on that bender. And
Okay.
then I use the smart bender. I use the 855 series for most of my career. Again, it's another staple. It's consistent. It's
Okay.
easier. It's faster. Takes a lot of
Okay.
wear and tear off the body.
All
So
right.
those two, but that's where I wouldn't really buy the 855, the smart benders. They uh they are a pretty penny, dude.
I saw that. There were 23,000 because I have the 854 where I'm teaching at the school. That was
Sure.
23, I think said $23,000.
Yep.
And the whole time I thought the bender was off because every time I would bend a 90, it was at 87. But what did you just tell me offline? Why was that happening? Because I'll be honest, I have not used a smart bender. I've always
Yeah,
used
so
a
the
manual bender.
the 855, the 854, like the smart bender and the electric bender, those series they have offsets or higher numbers that they recommend bending to adjust for spring back in the conduit. So I think like 3/4 inch conduit, they want you to bend to like a 91 or 92 degree bend. Then to adjust for the spring back, it comes back to a 90 degree. I've
Okay.
been a lot of inch and a quarter, an inch and a half with that same bender, and it's like 93, 94, sometimes 95 degrees. You got to bend over to adjust for that spring back of the
Spring
conduit.
back. Okay. Because I had to, it's
Yep.
92 as I need it. 92. It
Yep.
was
That sounds
what I
right.
need to. Okay. That's what I needed. I'm ordering I called it Chicago, even though you called it Greenlee 1800. I never really heard that.
So
I've called it a Chicago.
I was raised calling it a Chicago bender, and then I
Yeah.
realized like coming into Kimberly Clark, for instance, a lot of those guys weren't. I don't want to bad talk anybody because there's a lot of great people, but a lot of those guys weren't construction guys coming
Mm-hmm.
into it.
Right.
So they have always called it by the vendor and the part number. Where I always called it a Chicago
Me
bender. I got
too.
to
Yeah.
Kimberly Clark like, oh, it was like, can we use the Chicago bender for this? Like, oh, what's that? I'm like, wow, well, It's another one that was an old school brand that you just called it the Chicago bender.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a
Well,
1800 manual
1800. Okay.
ratcheting.
I
Yeah,
love that
so
thing. I'll be honest. I like it. I find it so much easier to use. I mean, I'm
mhm.
starting to get used to electronics since I have it now. But in you said industrial, but in residential commercial, you're going to need something like this, the manual benders, with the handle and the shoe, as you see in this picture, right? This is basically what the residential commercial guy is going to probably use. I know that's all I
Yeah, and then
used in the beginning of my life in the
yeah,
career.
you can even go back even further. Kind of like when I got into the trade, it was kind of like phasing out of the term, but they called them hickey benders,
Hickey,
where
yes,
you
I
get like
used hickeys,
the little
yes.
shoe bender, so you could just get a 30-degree bender, the
Right.
little hickey benders. So yeah, I came up
Okay.
with. I learned on these. I learned on the. I called them candy canes. I didn't know what else to call them. I
Candy
called them
canes.
the candy cane bender.
Yes.
So I learned on those, and then I went to right into. I did a lot of aluminum rigid, so
Did you?
it was very easy to bend, not forgiving if you mess it up.
Yeah, I did. I used that in refineries.
So
Rigid
yeah,
aluminum.
it was great to learn on because it
Hmm.
was super easy, no stress on the body, but you also had to be very accurate. Um, just because you can't take if you bend it to 94 degrees, you're not getting that out without ruining the pipe. If you
Right.
overbend your offset or underbend your offset, it's not a forgiving medium to work with.
So you're saying benders. I mean, you said that's a tool used. Why do you think they need that? Honestly, why do you think they need benders? I have an idea, and you probably have one. I just want you to describe to the group and out there who's, let's say, they're residential. They're like, why do I need this? Why do I need that bender? You know what I mean? Even the
Yeah, so
manual.
yeah, for benders, a lot of times commercial industrial applications are much higher ceilings. They're
Yeah.
underground. They're through the walls. I know residential goes through the walls. They have some conduit. They do have some benders, but industrial, sometimes you run a conduit 40 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go back up there to open up an LB or an LR, LL, T conduit. Like, T conduits are kind of unavoidable to use, but
Mm-hmm.
LRs and LLs, like it's really not fun to go back and go 40 feet up in the air to pull wire where you just
Okay.
have back, you can have two 90s instead of two conduits. Now you got to go up and pull wire. It's adding extra steps.
Mm-hmm.
It's adding more time and more inconvenience.
Okay, so you reckon because of that? Well, just let people know, conduit. What he's talking about are fixtures that have holes in them to run wire through. So you just put two
It's
pipes in certain spots to give you either a wiring pulling opening or different angles. Just to let you know if you don't know what a conduit is, or I can look
it
up a
takes
picture.
it takes no skill to use
Mm-hmm.
those. So that's one thing is always taboo because anybody can install a conduit body.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can bend conduit. So I was told and raised that bending conduit is an art form and you want it to look as good as you want your name to be. So if you're using LBs, or again, T's are unavoidable.
Mm-hmm.
You're using these conduits and conduit bodies. There's not really much skill in it. You can cut and thread pipe and you use a tape measure. That's what
Yeah.
that tells people.
Right.
And
I
then
know when we go at work, when we were working, at Kimberly Clark, I used to hate that the conduit, fittings would be at spots you couldn't get to. You're like,
yeah,
why didn't they just run a darn 90 to that spot? They're in
yep.
very bad locations. That's what I always try to make sure I run 90s in spots where I don't have to, I know I can't get to. You know what I mean? I'll never get to that spot again. Maybe
So that
once.
was again, yeah. So big for me was a lot of people down Kimberly Clark also don't understand that because they own their own equipment.
Mm,
There's always in-house articulating genie lifts. There's always scissor lifts, single man lifts. There's always a way to get to the ceiling.
to a
When you're in
point. There's certain
construction,
spots you can't get
right?
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In construction, once the job's over, that lift leaves. That scissor lift leaves. So the
Okay.
next guy behind you, if they want to add a circuit or they have an issue with a circuit that's in the conduit existing, and you got a conduit 30 feet in the air,
Yeah.
they got to rent one, and sometimes they're no longer accessible. Like sometimes we've had articulating lifts, genie lifts to do auditoriums.
Mm,
So you're booming out and up and over and all over this auditorium.
right.
You can't get back. You can't get that back in there once it's done. So there's
Yeah. Right.
like some places you can't just use it. And then
Well,
again, too, like finished ceilings, you're not allowed to use conduit bodies or junction boxes in enclosed ceilings unless there's an access point
right.
or it's built into it. But so I was always raised and taught to just avoid them whenever necessary, whenever possible. Avoid the conduit. 'Cause I'd much rather sit here and someone else
Mm,
sits on the ground over here. We pull wire up and
yep.
over instead of both climbing ladders and adding another point, and then it
Yep.
becomes another safety concern.
I agree
Then you have to have
100%.
ladders. There's a lot of variables once it comes to.
Well, you got to think, Kim and Clark, there's spots where we legally get up there to pull wire. There's times I've been on a bunch of conduit, which,
Yep.
by our standard, we're not supposed to do it. And
Yeah.
those company guys just turn away and don't look. They're like, all right,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not seeing this, but it's the only way to get the
Hmm.
job done. So technically, we're not supposed to be doing it too, but we are. We're just
Right.
cheating the rules. We're cheating.
Yeah.
So no, I agree 100%. No, conduit bending. That's what I'm teaching the people in my class. I'm teaching them conduit bending. Only thing I got to refresh on is the three bend saddle. I haven't done that in 15 years. So I have to
So it's
remind myself.
another one for me. In my entire career, miles of conduit between Rob Roy, the is PVC coated rigid, IMC, RMC, EMT, aluminum rigid. I could tell you on one hand how many saddle bends that I've actually bent. I'd rather change the elevation of the pipe run
Mm,
than bend a saddle. Because
okay.
again, a saddle, say if you have two 90s and a saddle in the middle,
Yeah.
that's a tough pull, dude. It doesn't look like a lot, but pulling through a saddle, it's just
Yeah.
constant resistance.
And that's what I was
So
telling my class. 180 degrees of total bend. It's gonna be so hard to pull that wire through.
it's
You know.
terrible, terrible.
All right, that's a good point. Maybe I'll teach my class that because they were asking me to teach them three bend saddle, which is not part of that. It's called a Nocti test. It's the test they got to take for the national.
Okay.
It's just to evaluate them. And there's no three bend saddle on that. It's back to back 90 offset. Doesn't You can do whatever degree you want. And I think that's it. That's it for the conduit test.
Yeah, the
Um,
three bend saddle is nice for maybe residential where you don't have a lot of space.
mhm,
But for me, I like to I like to change elevation. So if I have a conduit rack here running
mhm,
towards you and I
yeah.
have to get up and over it, I'd rather just raise my unistrut up and just shoot straight over it. Straight pipe's the best pipe.
Okay,
So
I'll bring that up.
sometimes it's unavoidable to have saddle bends.
Mhm.
I was always more of a fan of a four bend saddle over a 3 point saddle. The four bend, I think
Oh,
it looks cleaner having two parallel offsets coming into each
yeah.
other. I think it looks
Right.
better than a little rainbow in the pole.
I
So
understand. Okay.
I appreciated the four bend saddle over the three bend saddle.
Okay. All right. So we talked about conduit, why we want it. And by the way, in residential, I still think they need benders because there's times where
Sure.
they do need to run pipe. I've done it many times as a residential electrician. So they're going to need a minimum hand benders
So I
for their
believe
tasks.
believe Delaware. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this, but I believe Delaware their home runs have to be in conduit from the panel to the first junction box, then they can branch off from there. But I
Okay.
believe they have to be conduit in Delaware residential.
All right. I know in Chicago, all houses in the city have to be conduit. It's
Yeah,
the
it's
code. It's
safer.
code.
Yeah, it's safer. It's better. It's more efficient. You can always add.
Hmm. And you
So
can always
I think
remove
it's
wires and
better.
put back in. Yeah, I think it's much
Yeah,
better
right.
too.
Yeah.
I just never done it in residential side like that. I've done it on the outside walls, but never inside
Yeah. Yeah. Same
studs
thing
or
here.
whatever. Never done
And
that
me too.
before.
A lot of people love residential work. I never cared much for it. I don't like doing the receptacles of my own house, but
True.
I just never found any satisfaction in running Romex inside of a wall.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not good at it, but I don't care to be good at it. I'd much
Right.
rather run conduit and
Yeah.
do stuff like that. The
Run your
house is never.
conduit and run your stranded in there. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Romex. When I came up in the trades too, Romex was a temporary lighting wire. That's all we use that for.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Run temporary lights so you can
Yep.
start the job. Yeah, I've done that too. All right.
Yeah, we
When
just
I
start
started
pulling
commercial.
Romex through rooms and like pull a little pigtail, tape it up, and then hang a
Yeah.
light there. Next room, hang a light there. So that's
Yeah.
all I used it for a long time.
Yeah. Right. That's a good point. That's what I'm teaching my kids, by the way, is how to use Romex and to make it neat as possible. I've
Hmm.
literally now I've just having them cutting pieces, and I finally stopped them. I said, "Look, stop cutting pieces. Stop it." Oh well, Mr. Quinn, I'm like, no. You pull off the spool and you run to size, and you cut it according to the size. So I was teaching them how to do that.
Yeah,
But yeah, Romex, it's so easy to damage too. So easy to damage. So conduit's a
oh, it's awful.
much
Yeah.
better conduit or MC, much better
Hmm.
path. So we talked about the bender, right? With
Yep.
the rigid bender, there's another piece of equipment then you need with it. Can you describe that?
The threader. You need a threader not for EMT, obviously.
No, of course not.
That's like putting a puzzle together that you can cut and put a coupling anywhere you want to.
Yeah.
Threaded conduit. You need a rigid threader. So
Okay.
whether it be
I have the picture up.
I call it a pony. Yeah, I call it a pony threader. I don't know what the actual term is. Like a manual handheld threader. Milwaukee
Yeah.
has one. It's Milwaukee's is really good, and the battery life is really good on it. But it only takes Milwaukee dies. So you can't take the die from Milwaukee and put it into a rigid hand threader. Same thing, vice versa. You can't put the rigid into a Milwaukee, which becomes a pain because I don't know that Milwaukee makes a Rob Roy set yet. I could be wrong again, but rigid has Rob Roy dies. That one, yep. I've used that one, I don't know, thousands of times. But it's absolutely essential to the job. And then they make adapters to go from, because the biggest you can do with that's a 2-inch conduit. And they have an adapter. We used to call it the goat's head. I don't know what the
Okay.
actual trade term is for it, but we would call it a goat's head or boar's head. It goes
Mm-hmm.
in there, and you can do up to 4-inch conduit.
And I was teaching my kids how to use this threader, and they almost they got close to stripping the die. I'm like, how the heck do you do that? How do you
Yeah, it's
almost
tough.
strip a die? If they didn't, I finally got them to fix it. But man,
It's tough,
sorry.
dude.
Yeah,
And then obviously the next bump up would be a deck threader, but sometimes you can't use a deck threader. So
because you need
your
that
second picture on
tight
the right.
90. Yeah, the tight
Yeah, if you got a
because
tight
tight
90 or a
90s.
tight
Yeah,
offset.
right.
So I've used both quite a bit. Then there's another larger series that I didn't really look into because um, it's not really convenient for anybody to own unless you have an industrial business. It's a it's a threader made by Rigid. It's a tow behind it. It's a trailer you can tow behind a vehicle. Has
Right.
different speeds, different settings for high, low,
Mm-hmm.
from 1 inch to 4 inch to 5 inch conduit. So it is if you have big jobs and you are an industrial contractor, it should be a go-to, but not necessary.
Okay.
But it is nice to have.
They do sell inexpensive hand threaders, and I've used them. It just you need some
Mhm.
muscle to use them. So you
Yeah,
don't have to go expensive right away if you don't have a lot of pipe, but you still want to
right.
run rigid. You can use hand threaders. I've used them. It's just a little bit of work.
Yeah, yeah.
A
So
little bit
even
of work.
then, they're not cheap either. So like
They're
the
they're
the
cheaper, not
green.
the cheapest, but yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. That's a good way to put it. They're cheaper, but they're not cheap. So
Yeah.
like the same thing with the Greenlee 1800 series Chicago bender. That's $1,700 right off the top. So that's not a cheap avenue to go. And then
This
you get
one's
your threaders.
$355 hand threader. It's rigid.
See it?
Uh,
Is it
300.
ratcheting?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the
Ratcheting.
one I
Yep.
bought when I bought at work. I bought that work at Kimberly Clark, and I was using it.
Nice.
But $355 is the price for that. Here, I'll show it to you. Let me get to you. So it's $355 for this model. All right, let me show that.
Yeah. Yep. I use that quite a bit, especially too when you need, again, like real tight bend. Sometimes you can't even get the pony on it.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes ratcheting is the way to go. It's not fun, but it's efficient.
It's some work though. You're definitely working with that one.
Yeah, like when you're just cranking away, like, all right, man, we're almost done. Like, only halfway. So it's definitely a workout. Sometimes I do it just to feel, because maintenance electrical is a lot of small wires and a lot of just change a relay and like you're good to go. So sometimes I
Yeah.
do that manual ratcheting one just to feel like a man again.
I'll be honest. That's what before you came here. That's what I bought to do pipe bending because
Yeah.
I don't know. I was in distribution side where you had to be cheap, so I was buying all the cheap tools before I went to Perini. And the guy goes, Perini's another department, guys. The Perini guy went, dude, buy money, buy stuff. I'm like, oh, I can.
Yeah.
So that's what I had at first was a hand threader.
Yeah.
He wanted to give me more and more work. I'm like, look, I can't with this hand threader. He's like, buy what you need. So I was able to buy it.
But they're nice. They're nice too, especially for like people listening or trying to get into that world. It's a lot less space to store that. You're talking about a small toolbox of space that you're actually going to take up when you get to the electric pony threader. It's a 1 foot tall by 1 foot deep by 3 foot long, 80-pound box. The ratcheting one's probably still 40 or 50 pounds, but it's significantly smaller, much more compact.
Right, and it's not hard to use as long as you put a lot of lubrication on. It's pretty easy to use. Like the guys I was training, they weren't they were just doing once. I'm like, nah, go crazy. And next thing you know, they're going crazy, putting all that oil in there, and like, oh yeah, Mr. Quinn, it's so much easier. I'm like, yeah, because it needs oil. Same thing with the hand threader. As long as you put oil in there, you should be able to do it.
Never be a dry guy.
Nah, go crazy. Same thing when you're drilling and tapping. Go crazy. Put oil in there so you don't burn up your bit.
The only time you don't want to go crazy, not to get too far ahead, but like core drill. I don't know how often you've used core drills with the diamond bits. Too much water is not a good thing.
Oh, yes. Core drill, yes. The one that you need a hot work permit in Kimberly Clark, which sounds so stupid,
Well, I mean, it cuts rebar, cuts metal conduit. It is a dangerous tool, and like I've seen again, a lot of people I've seen them use it dry. It does put a lot of dust in the air if you're not wetting it properly. So there is, and I understand. Like, from Kimberly Clark's standpoint, I would put a hot work permit process on that too because I've seen that people work down there.
Did you? Because this thing was getting drenched with water. I'm like,
Dude,
how's drenched? I'm talking like it's like waterfall of water on that. That's why I think it was a problem.
I've seen people drill holes and barely use like 4 ounces of water. I'm like, dude, like this is not even close to where you should be. Yeah. So I understand why some people do that.
All right, core hole. It's huge. I'm not gonna pull it up there. It's a big. It just makes nice, beautiful looking holes. Right. It's just clean. Uses a lot of water. Just kind of like when you see people cutting sidewalks. They're using tons of water to keep the dust down, keep sparks from happening. That's what he's talking about. It's a good machine to have. If you're doing electrical, a lot of big work, you definitely need that.
You do like a 1/2 inch hole to a. I've seen a 30-inch core drill, which is never necessary for electrical, but
it could if you're running big conduit and big in brick walls and stuff. You definitely could use it because the hammer drill just makes it look ugly. This.
And then sometimes you get. I've had it before where like prisons and stuff, or going through floors where you got to go through corrugated steel and rebar. Hammer drill's not going through rebar.
No.
Core drill, it's a diamond bit. It goes through everything. So it can be it'll go right through a conduit also. So you got to watch.
With the hot pot. Yeah. That's why you're supposed to check first, man. Remember? We're supposed to check to make sure nothing's hot.
Yeah.
You're supposed to check that. That's not on my list, but if you are going to do that kind of work, maybe get a device that checks for voltage and amperage. But yeah, so with that, another thing I wanted to talk about, you talked about that, is knockout sets and hole saw bits and unibits.
Oh yeah.
I think at a minimum, if you do a residential commercial, you should at least have uh, a knockout set, right? Or a unibit set, or you use these, right? These Klein hole heavy duty. I never use those. Bomber and Doe used to like
Oh yeah, the carbides.
this one and this
That
one. Yeah,
will
I never used it.
the carbide sets will give you as clean of a hole
Okay,
as a knockout set.
really?
Oh,
Okay,
they're awesome. They're expensive, so it reflects. Like I have a Milwaukee
yeah, it's
set
$279. So yeah,
from a half inch to a 2 inch, so it's a half inch conduit to a 2 inch conduit. So it's actually a 7/8 hole saw up to a 2 1/4 or 2.5.
mm-hmm.
Uh, awesome. I use it on every single project we do. I use that kit.
Yeah, it makes me want to buy one because, like, I was watching you use it and it's nice and clean. I'm like, wow, I like that because
Oh, dude,
this takes a while. The knockout set takes a while to set
mhm.
up. You know, you got to make sure your lines
What's
are
not,
correct. This is what I had in my old toolbox, which is still Kimberly Clark, and I don't have that anymore. But
mhm.
the
Yeah, I have a
knock.
similar set at work right now. I have the hydraulic pump, but
Mm-hmm.
not with the hose. Mine's the chuck is attached right to the body.
Yeah. Okay. All
Just
right.
pump it. So again, love that tool. Also, it has its time and a place where you can use the unibit
Mm-hmm.
to drill the
That's
pilot
just
hole for
it's
the
just
hydraulic
shown here
punch.
on the right. They have a
The hole
Klein
saws,
punch out. Yep.
the hole
Okay.
saws are hole saws are messy. So if it's a brand new construction, you can get away with hole saws and the carbide bits. If you're drilling into, I would never do it at Kimberly Clark,
Mm-hmm.
into an energized equipment, I would route with a unibit and
Mm-hmm.
then a punch. It's gonna be
Right.
much safer, less mess,
Mm-hmm.
a lot easier to track down. The hole saws have a time and a place as well as as well as the punch.
Yeah, I
But
try to
I think they're both.
minimize. Yeah, I try to minimize using hole saws because I find them so annoying. I never use
Mhm.
these heavy duty cut. I never used them. I like to get me a set and try them
Oh, they're
out.
great. They're awesome. They're great for stainless steel, metal, aluminum, plastic. They've been good on every medium that I've used it for. Except I will say I'll back that up. Plexiglass. It cuts it great. That little slug gets stuck in there so good though, because it's cutting and melting it at the same time.
Oh, it
So
is.
you
Okay.
got to cut. So for plastic, so like PVC and plexiglass, it'll
Mm.
cut it super great. But if you're cutting too fast, it's cutting and melting it at the same time because it's
Oh,
the heat.
okay. All right.
So you just got to cut slow with those.
All right. I can see that. I never used them, but I can see that. Uh,
I recommend those to anybody that has the money for it, dude. They're
yeah. Because I seen a lot of
man, they're good.
electricians just do strictly unibit. Oh, that hole was so sharp. Even the file,
Oh, dude,
still
it's terrible.
sharp. That's another thing I would recommend if you're going to be in the trade, buy files, nice good files,
Mhm.
because in case
I
that
have the
does happen.
half half round is pretty
Mm-hmm.
much good for anything. Also,
Yep.
one that I was I was I was turned on to early is the deburring. I used to
Oh, the
what do you used to
burn
call it?
tool. I don't use that. I just use
What do we
file. But
call
all
them?
right, it's
I forget what we used to call
it's
them.
the weird looking deburn tool that Mark used to use all the time.
It looks like a pen. It's got a swivel
Yeah.
head on it. It'll deburr the sharp edge. Um, I turned Mark onto those. I bought Mark his first one, so start that. I use those every day in construction prior to Kimberly Clark, and then when I started doing conduit projects again at Kimberly Clark, I purchased my own and brought them in until I forget who turned me on to at Kimberly Clark that they were in SAP, just a
Right.
different brand, and now they're stocked in every Fastenal cabinet in the facility. But I
Right.
was using
Okay.
those since I was 24. Great for conduit, great for unistrut, great for if you're cutting sheet metal.
Yeah.
Just run the edge. It takes that real sharp edge off. And
I'm
same thing
looking
with
for
too.
it
Like
now.
I don't know how often you dealt with metal studding in commercial buildings or industrial,
A lot.
that has a sharp side. You can use that deburring tool on that stamp side too,
I
take that
found it.
real raw edge off.
I'll bring it over to show the group. Let me switch it over real quick. Let me get this up. Give me a second to switch it over. Keep talking. I'm just going to switch it up. All right.
So it's actually like a machinist or metal fabricator and like plumbing. It's the biggest in those trades, but that works phenomenal for electrical conduit
Let me show
also.
everybody now. All right, there it goes for the crowd. It's right there. It looks
You
like
can
a
buy it on
pen.
Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's. They all work great. I liked Milwaukee had some real some Milwaukee guy. Milwaukee had some really good ones. They're like $10 in the plumbing aisle at Home Depot.
Okay,
Loved them.
okay. If you're doing conduit, it's something to do. I'm still old fashioned files. Maybe I'll start trying to use that. See if I can
Oh,
start
dude, it's
using it.
quick. Just spin it around. It takes that whole. Again, if you're using a deck threader with the cutting die, the cutting wheel that comes with it,
Yeah.
that gives you a real heavy rolled burr. That little wheel's not designed for that. If you're doing sawzall cuts or bandsaw cuts,
Mm-hmm.
grinder cuts, it's good for that application, but
Right.
not a cutting wheel. Like the cutting wheel that I don't even know what it's called.
Oh, you're talking about the for like rigid?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the one you put in there and it just spins. Like kind of cleans the
hmm
deburring. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Okay.
Another one I showed Bob Marandola and Mark Furnace also was that certain size condo, so half inch and 3/4, 1 inch.
Right.
If you have the right unit bit, you can use unit bits for deburring conduit also.
I
Super
never
fast.
thought of that.
So
Okay.
sometimes when you're doing like when I was commercial industrial, the company that I worked for, sometimes we knew that we had 40 pipes that we had to cut to 8 feet long.
Right.
So we just bundled 10 at a time and put it in a big bandsaw, cut them all, and then just
Mm-hmm.
take the unit bit and just hog them all out. And you're doing 10 pipes in a minute instead of filing every single one or
Right.
deburring it. Just hit it with a unit bit. Boom,
Right.
boom, 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 boom. It was awesome.
Wow. That's in a lot of thinking there to do that. That's good. Good thinking. Saves the
What's the
job, make it go for
old timers turned me onto it, and like whatever I can learn that makes my life easier, makes someone else anything that can make someone else's life easier or their knowledge makes my life easier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a book, dude. I'll tell you whatever I know how to get
Uh,
the job done.
uh,
If
yeah.
it's safe or not, I'll tell you how I do it.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, I'm the same way.
whatever
I
someone
don't
else knows
hide
makes my life easier.
if they want to learn though. But yeah,
Yeah,
I have no
I
problem
got no
teaching
trade
anybody that wants to
secrets.
learn. I'm not forcing anybody, but if they want to learn, I'll teach them. Yep.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I don't keep any trade secrets. It's not beneficial to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm trying to show, and I'm sure you've dealt with people, Kimberly Clark, like this. I've dealt with in construction and Kimberly Clark, where I've tried to teach people just reading drawings down to a component level. Like, hey, this is our
Yeah.
issue.
Right.
And I turn over and they're on their cell phone. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
not
I'm
teaching
done.
this person anything. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
wasting my time.
No.
This is
No.
beneficial for both of us. And now I'm the only one that's paying attention.
Right. So we just talked about benders. We talked about threaders and deburring.
Yep. Yeah.
We just talked about hole saws, the one you looked
Core
at.
drill.
That's a core drills. What else do you think? Let's think of what else you would want as electrician, even apprentice. What is
Um,
beneficial for them to have in their tool belt? Bring with them.
so before we get too far, going back to the drills and hole saws,
All right.
the rotary hammer drills,
Okay.
absolutely essential for studs, passageways, and they have ground rod attachments to drive ground rods, so you're not sitting up there with a sledgehammer.
I saw that. Yeah.
Get the ground rod attachment for your hammer drill.
Mm-hmm.
Your day will go by so much faster.
Right. Because I was that guy that had to hit it with the hammer in the middle of winter.
Yep.
I
No,
got
yeah,
it.
me
It
too.
just took me forever.
I've always hit my hand right there.
Yeah.
I'm left-handed. I swing by and smash my hand right there.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Been
And then
there,
the
been there,
guys
done
laughing
that.
at you because they had the attachment in the truck, but they're just letting you
Yeah.
suffer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't tell you about it. No, it's a good point. Hammer drill, because remember, you got to, even in residential, you got to install stuff in block, in brick, in concrete walls in the
Yeah,
basement.
yeah, concrete, cinder block, brick,
Yeah.
driving your ground rods.
Right.
It's a hot commodity no matter what field, whether it's
Right.
construction, commercial, industrial, residential.
And
That
get a
is a
real
great tool to
one.
have.
And get. I bought a
Hmm.
cheap one, and I threw it away at 3 months into it.
Yep.
Even my screw gun with the hammer drill, it does not do the justice like an actual hammer drill does.
Yeah. Buy the designated, I think they call it a
Hmm.
rotary hammer drill or whatever they call it.
Yeah, I don't have a
Buy
picture of
a
that, but yeah,
designated tool.
yeah,
That is the way to go.
right. Because that would help you out. Seriously, I've like using like a regular screw gun hammer drill, and I'm there for a while, like,
Yeah,
and I
terrible.
wasn't doing anything
Hmm.
because I forgot my actual hammer drill at home. Like, darn it,
Oh
side
yeah.
work. So I got it.
And
It
then
just took me forever.
and I don't know, 'cause again, I'm a Milwaukee guy through and through, so I don't
Right,
look at many other tool brands,
right.
but I know like Milwaukee has as a on the rotary hammer guns, they have the drill option, the hammer drill
I'm gonna
option,
look it
and
up.
the hammer option where it doesn't rotate, it just chisel. So you use it as a chisel, a small jackhammer, stuff like that. There's a lot of cool feats. It's like $450 for the good one,
Right.
but it's worth it, dude. It is so worth it.
I'm gonna pull this up. Switch. Give me a second to switch it
I
over.
guess
And now
$600 that first one.
let me switch it
Six
over.
hundred $600, spend the money. It's worth it.
Yeah. I'm. Oh, look at that. It took the one I had up. That was up. The DeWalt was, and then when I switched it
Oh, that's
over,
crazy. That's crazy. It was the wrong color tool.
I had this up, and then when I clicked it to go over to you, it switched to Milwaukee, killing me,
Well,
Smalls.
It knows, man. AI is taking over.
Even this little baby, this little small one, the M12,
I
it
have that.
does good work. The small
I
one is
love it,
not
dude.
that expensive, and it does
I
good
have it in my
job.
basement. I have it in my
Yeah,
basement right now. I love that tool. I've had it for 6 years now,
yeah, yeah.
but it doesn't have the chisel option. So you can only drill or hammer drill. You can't just use it as a chisel.
Okay, all right.
So
I
it's not
see.
good for that. The small one's not for good for driving ground rods, but it's good for everything else.
This is not this model. I had a cheap one like this
Hmm.
right here, and that thing wouldn't drill worth a darn.
You know what's wrong with it?
I had to throw it out. Not this one, but a different model. I think it was like one of those cheapies from that store. What's that called?
Harbor
What's that?
Freight,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Harbor Freight.
yeah. I threw it out. Just couldn't take it.
Yeah,
I don't like.
the only problem with your power tools is the color and the brand.
Right. Right.
But I'm sure you
Not
guys can make a
really.
better chain.
Not
You can make
really.
a better chainsaw. You can make a better
Yeah.
chainsaw than Milwaukee.
Because I was gonna mess with the crowd and say, "Oh my gosh, Milwaukee makes bad tools." Not one.
Yeah,
I was gonna tell the crowd, "Milwaukee stinks. They're making bad tools." Being a
yeah. I think they're
DeWalt guy, just
recalling what 100,000 chainsaws.
just chainsaws though. I was gonna try to make it sound worse. See, all my kids at this school,
Hey man, talk them down.
they're
Make
all
them cheap, dude.
They're
Talk them
Milwaukee.
down.
They're all Milwaukee people.
It's the cool way to be.
Uh,
You got cool kids in your class. That's the problem.
well, the good thing about Milwaukee, they have all these different tools that DeWalt's not keeping up with. I wish DeWalt would start doing that too, because I would love
Well, I
to
think
get the
they're
certain tools
but
they have.
DeWalt's coming around though, dude. They what DeWalt did that Milwaukee didn't. So I think I just one DeWalt tool in my household, and it's a 12-inch dual compound miter saw.
Okay.
Love that thing. Everything else I have is all Milwaukee. I have an Ingersoll Rand half-inch impact, but the only Milwaukee tool DeWalt tool I own is a badass saw.
Right. Okay. All right. And like I said, I only went DeWalt because of when I took over that department. That's what the tool he had. But now I'm not going away because they're not cheap buying everything I have right now. I can't just switch over. With
That's my
everything
thing. Like
I have everything
by the
in
time I
DeWalt.
ventured out, I thought about switching over to Makita. I thought about
Mm-hmm.
switching over to Hilti. Again, I never really cared much for DeWalt. I had a drill and impact when I first started the trades, and it was
Mm-hmm.
good until I used Milwaukee, and I don't know whether it was my tools were old compared to the tools that I was using.
Yeah.
But now I have a circular saw, I have a sawzall, I've had I don't know 6 or 7 drills and impacts. I got
Mm-hmm.
flashlights, I got right angle drill. I got so many tools through Milwaukee. I Not that I can't afford to. I don't want to start over with a new brand because I have
Yeah. I'm the same
10
way.
batteries for the 18 volt, and I have 12 batteries for the 12-volt system. I have
Mm-hmm.
M4 batteries, and I'm too far invested to switch.
Right. Only problem is the specialty stuff that Milwaukee makes that DeWalt doesn't. Like the solder iron I have.
Hmm.
DeWalt doesn't sell that, and I like a cordless solder iron. That's a
So,
positive. What I have.
Sergeant Solder.
That's right. Oh yeah, got to
Well,
fix
dude,
it,
I
baby.
thought about that. What was this? Three weeks ago.
Yeah.
I got called in. One of the operators stepped on one of our encoder cables, and they're all Amphenol soldered ends on them,
Yep.
and
That's what I used
pulled
to do.
pulled
That was the exact one I used to solder all the time.
pulled one wire out.
Uh
And
huh.
me and Jimmy Momenko, the shift guy there, he helped me fix it. And dude, we we had to run extension cords. We had to plug in the old-fashioned soldering iron, let it get hot, and then we're in this little enclosure with
Hmm.
flashlights all over, extension cords all over, trying to solder this little tiny wire. So I'm holding it together, and he's soldering it. I'm like, dude, like this is terrible.
That's why I
But
got the
no one,
cordless. That's the exact
no
reason why I
one
got.
on Saturday, nobody on Saturday at 4 a.m. was there or had one. So I'm like, man, like that would have been a great tool to have. But that's like the second time I've ever had to solder at Kimberly Clark. Other than that, it's like you had it done
Really?
or Bob Marin. Yeah,
Oh wow.
I never cared for the Amphenol connectors. I
It
always like
was
buying
every
pre-made
week,
ends.
every other week I had to solder. That's why I had to, that's why I soldered so much because.
I said, luckily with ST1, the department that I reside in now, like we have
Mm,
one, two, three. We only have four, three. We only have three Amphenol connectors on each machine,
okay.
and it's just for encoder. So I don't typically run into that scenario too often where I have to be soldering. Perini,
Well, their
that
cables are
was
right
tough.
there where they keep touching. They're near it. That's the problem
Hmm.
with Perini. It was right there, and
Yeah,
that's why if you notice, I put boxes in. I put
yeah. Oh yeah, I would
boxes
too,
where
man.
I just replaced the
Yeah.
cable, and then what I did was verify that I had no ohmic problems. Everything was smooth. I verified that there's a encoder tester, and it passed like 10 out of 10. So when I experimented, that's why I did that. But man,
Oh
your
yeah, man.
department, all your cables though are kind of out of the way, in your
Yes,
department.
the only two that I've ever really had issues with Amphenol connector wise, and it's
Yeah.
only been one or two that I've had to resolder
Right.
is the unwind motor, which is
Okay.
right next to their drive side of I guess their idle side of the accumulator.
Uh huh.
So if they have any crack ups or stuff like that, they got to go on that back side. So that's the situation I did have is someone had a crack up in the accumulator, had to fix it, and then stepped on the encoder right
Mm,
where it freaking plugs in and just
mm.
snapped the connector and pulled a wire out. So that's on a to-do list. It was a quick solder fix, but the aluminum housing still cracked. So I gotta change that or wait the 3 weeks and push it off until I'm gone.
Just think when I was the safety trainer there and all that. The last safety guy, he was so adamant on making soldering a hot work permit where you had to do an act of God to solder on the floor. And I fought
Yeah.
back and they finally listened to me. I'm like, look, dude, it's not happening. You're going to be down for days if you start this. They were going to pass that.
Well, so I
Uh,
try to tell so I told a couple guys on operations that they were laughing at me. I'm like, hey, he's like, listen, I was like, they pushed for a long time to make this a hot work permit process, and
yeah.
now that you guys have conveyor belts that they want you to fuse with a
Mm-hmm.
soldering iron,
Mm-hmm.
all those rules disappeared.
Yeah,
I think they used to hammer
I
down on
fought
soldering
hard.
irons. Now it's like you guys have two conveyor belts that require a soldering iron,
Yeah,
so there is no permit. There's no permit
right.
anymore, or there's no talks of it anymore.
What I got them to shut up is I made an SOP. And then they shut up, and then they brought it back up. Well, Shawn has an SOP, which I never gave it to you guys. I'm like, yeah, I ain't doing this. SOP. That's how I got away
Yeah,
with it.
no.
Uh,
I don't do anything with SOPs or like, especially the construction that I do there. I try to
yeah,
do it on third shift overnight when there's nobody there. There's no
right.
ASFs, there's no management, there's no leadership, there's no plant manager. I can do whatever I have to do to get the job done.
But you do it safely. I've watched you. You do it
I
safely.
I do it safely that other people would probably frown upon, but I've been doing it for 12 years. I don't do anything that I feel uncomfortable with. So,
Well,
but
some of the rules they
if
interject in is someone who doesn't know anything about our world, right? That's who's
oh, for sure,
interjecting
yeah,
rules. They're thinking something's
absolutely.
unsafe, which isn't, but they think
Hmm.
it is because they don't know how to do
Yeah,
it, you know? So some of
it's
these rules
crazy,
that
man.
Kim
It's
and
like,
Clark are extreme, too extreme.
bro,
For
yeah,
one, if you're above 6 foot ladder, you're supposed to be tied off. That's contractors. I'm like, dude, I'm 3 point of contact. I'm good. I'm
yeah,
leaning against the ladder. That's 3 points, you
yep.
know? So I had to fight them. They were going to make us do that. Where harnesses past 6 feet. I said, where? The machines. Where are we going to tie off at? You
That's why
know?
I've had that argument before. Like, oh, you got to tie off
Sorry,
there. I'm like,
we're
where
on
do
a
you want me to tie
tangent.
off
Sorry
to?
about that.
Well, so we can go down that rabbit hole too. So like we went over ladders last time, but we didn't go over ladder safety.
Right.
So you have to have a fall arrest system, which
Above
Kimberly
four
Clark
feet.
supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kimberly Clark supplies everything. If you need it
True.
and it's safety orientated, they have it. They inspect it for you. It's there. But some of the rules that go with it, it's like if I'm going to be on the fifth step on an 8 foot A-frame ladder, and you want me to tie off, according to OSHA, it has to be rated for 3,500 pounds. Most of
Yeah.
the equipment down there is not rated to have 3,500 pounds hanging on it. And if it is, I got to climb 10 feet in the air to get to the tie off point.
Right.
I'm
But
like, so you want me to go up?
I believe it's if you don't have 3 points of contact is when you be tied off.
Right,
Right.
yeah. So it's the same thing with the scissor lift. You can go in a scissor lift without being harnessed off as long as you don't
You don't
stand
go.
on the side rails
Yeah.
or work
Right.
over the edge. As soon as you
Right.
step up on anything or reach out of the basket, then you have to have it.
Yeah.
And again, that just makes it super difficult to do the work. And
Yes.
then in a situation where a scissor lift does fall over and you're harnessed in, you're getting smacked down to the ground with that thing, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's
No. That's why I asked everybody to
crazy.
start doing retractables. That way, if you had retractables, you're good. But yeah, they had those
Well,
ones.
that
I,
too
I
with
got in
the
trouble. Dude. I had this harness, and it reached 18 feet if it opens up. And I'm
yeah,
telling the people yelling, get me in trouble. Like, look, I'll be dead. I didn't wear one
yeah,
because it's really useless. I still got
yeah. It's
written
not
up
good for
18 months
anything.
later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a. I've had that conversation a million times because again, yeah, it's like the spring. It has a 6 foot lanyard on it that is all packed in that opens up to 18 feet.
Yeah.
I was like, by the time this goes into effect, I'm hitting the ground.
Oh, big time.
I was like, this
And
is
if you're
I
not,
could
you're
tie
hitting
off.
the lift, either or.
Yeah, I was like, I could tie off anywhere you want me to. This isn't going to help me. Again, you need the retractable. It's got the quick lock mechanism.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's going to help you in that situation.
Yeah.
Or like tying off onto a rope. But an 18-foot fall arrest system is not is not
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah. Remember those days. Well, now with that, it's good, but still, scissor lift. As long as you're inside the cage, you technically don't need a harness. But they
Right.
treat their contractors like crap, and they force them to do certain things that, man, me and you'd be like, what the heck? The stuff they tell them to do.
Well, at the same
Ah,
time, so if a contractor gets hurt on a job, even
yeah,
though it's the contractor's fault and their insurance, Kimberly Clark will still undergo OSHA investigation.
right.
So if they're going above and beyond, like, hey man, we made them do this, we made them do this, we made them do this, and it's like, okay,
Hmm.
well, you guys can kind of wash your hands. We'll find
I
these
see.
guys.
I see.
So it's a big liability push. They don't care about this. I don't want to say they don't care about the safety, but it's a liability push. It's like, okay, we told them they have to do X, Y, and Z. They only did A, B, and C. So it's their fault. It's not our fault. So
Yeah,
we told them we
all
had to do
liability.
this, and they only, yep, it's just pushed off. That's all it is.
All right, so off the tangent, we just talked about all the things. Now let's talk about which kind of went off DeWalt and Milwaukee. I'm going to transition to this screen here. Ready? This is the next thing: drills and impact. You
Yeah,
are
man.
a Milwaukee fan. I am a DeWalt fan. All right, I've always been a DeWalt fan. Since one of my uncle was a repairman in North Philly for DeWalt. So
Okay.
that's one of the reasons I'm a DeWalt fan.
Sorry that runs in
Milwaukee,
your
though,
family.
yeah, I know, right? But Milwaukee has a lot of cool tools, so I can't talk too much smack about them because they have a lot of cool things that I kind of wish DeWalt would make. But this is one
Yeah,
of the
they're
things, if you're apprentice or just starting out or a homeowner, you should be having one of these in your house. You know,
I would say for the most part, yeah.
it could be cheap.
Um,
If you're a homeowner, buy a
it can be
cheap one, but
cheap,
but you should
but
have
you
it.
can also, if you don't know what you're doing, it's very easy to destroy things with these tools.
True. Train yourself. It's not hard to
Yeah.
train
Oh,
yourself.
the one thing we didn't go over wholesale wise was to touch back to the residential guys.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Paddle bits. They use paddle
Paddle
bits. I
bits.
never ever use paddle bits outside of my own house. So residential guys need paddle bits.
Okay. Yeah, it's a
The
good point.
carbide bits will
Drilling.
be
Yeah.
the carbide bit will be entirely useless for going through wood. It's like for metal only.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Paddle
Same thing
bits
with the
are
unibit.
great. Paddle bits
The
are
unibit
great.
would just the unibit just starts to burn the wood because it doesn't have the bite to go in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
I would do paddle
but
bit too to save your screw gun because they got the other kind, the screw type, that could be
mhm.
used too, but that has too much torque. And I've noticed that starts burning up screw guns. So I
Maybe
prefer
on
to
the
do
wall,
paddle bit. I prefer paddle.
maybe
No,
DeWalt,
no.
man.
I'm looking at the Milwaukee at school. They're
Boom,
burning the crap out of those with those bits. I already had two
man. I love
fail.
it.
Two Milwaukee's fail. I put them. I had to buy two more because they failed, burned up. And I found out why. They're like, I'm like, dude,
hmm
you gotta let that thing
User
cool
error.
down. Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
exactly.
User error.
They went crazy with it. I'm like, what are you doing? And then they find out the bit's dull. I'm like, dude, you gotta look.
Yeah, just throw it
Yeah.
away, dude. It's easier to buy drill bits than it is drills.
Yes. Uh huh. So this is one thing I'm going to talk about. I think they need voltage indicators, voltage testers,
Yeah.
minimum for the save their lives. But like you said, the Widowmaker. But you should have
Yep.
new batteries at least. At a minimum, you should have that a plug-in tester, right, for
Yep.
GFCIs.
For
And
me
I
personally,
still get a cheap
I
meter.
have a plug-in tester. I have a plug-in tester
Right.
and meter. I don't carry the voltage indicator at all. That's
I
not in my
see.
bag. It's not in my essentials. I mean, because I could be the wrong example for that. I've personally had one fail on me twice where I
Mm-hmm.
cut. Again, my fault. It's you never cut two wires at the same time type deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I blew up 240 volts.
Mm-hmm.
Or oh no, I got shocked by one leg of 240 because
Mm-hmm.
I used the voltage indicator, not a meter. I used the indicator and I tie into that circuit. And I was an apprentice and I got shocked because I didn't double check that the breaker was off. My voltage indicator showed no voltage. So I just went for it, got blasted. And then the second time was safing off 277, going through a fully functional construction site.
Yeah.
All of our lighting was 277 going through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no voltage. Grab the bundle, cut it, blew it up. Big
Mm-hmm.
fireball, destroyed my diagonal cutters.
Mm-hmm. I think
Scared
it
me
has
big
a
time.
purpose,
Stop
but the
using it. Yeah,
same
stop
I
using it.
saying yeah, yeah, I think it does still have a purpose, but the thing is you have to maintain it. You forget about it,
Mhm.
and you still need a meter though. I still think you always should have
Well,
a
that too,
meter,
and
and
it's
you
a
got to learn
fragile
how to use
tool.
it. There's a
So
lot of videos out there to learn how to use this stuff. Just got to figure it
yeah,
out.
it's
But
like with the voltage indicators too. It's a fragile component. So if you drop
mm-hmm.
it, it could
Yeah,
be trash.
mm-hmm.
So I stick to meter and the plug tester.
Okay, I see. So those
That's me
two. All right.
personally. I've had
No,
bad
it's good.
experiences with the
Good
indicators.
call. Good call. I still use the voltage indicator and then I still use meter next. I don't use strictly the one. I
One or
don't.
the other. Yeah,
I,
that
I
makes sense.
use both in
It's good
conjunction.
practice. Good practice.
Well, because same thing with you. I got hit, and I'm like, what
Hmm.
the heck? And then I come to find out, well, my meter failed. Why I do both is my meter failed. It worked when I first tested, right? Because I did a live dead test. I tested it, and the next time I tested the equipment, and I didn't test again, right? Because I'm like, oh, I'm
Yep.
good.
Yep. Yep.
And my meter failed that moment. And then I work. I'm like, oh, darn it. You know, when you get shot, you're like, darn it. You
Yep. Yep.
know? So that's why I use both, just to have, in case one of them fails, I have an option. That's why I started doing that. That was the other one. So what else is on your list? That was something on my list. I have more. I just want to see what you have.
For me, because I've done a lot of control panel work where you're cutting in new HMIs or new
Mm-hmm.
push buttons, new enclosures. You got to cut steel. So I have a right angle grinder
Oh,
and
grinders. Okay.
electric jigsaw.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
jigsaw. That's okay. Because
so
I
when you
use
when
jigsaws a lot. I just forgot about it. I never thought
so
about that.
when you're in a facility where you can't have open sparks or there's live components inside, you can't use a grinder, but a jigsaw is a great alternative. It's safer. It's not as fast, but it's safer, and no should be no sparks. So those were too big on my
Oh.
list because I've done a lot of retrofitting or
Mm-hmm.
cutting sheet metal steel to install electrical
Yeah.
components.
I've used a jigsaw a lot in electrical. I just wasn't thinking about it because
Hmm.
I was just thinking residential, but in commercial industrial, I used it a lot. Yeah, never and a sawzall too. But yeah,
I love a sawzall. Called a
or the
sawzall because it saws
reciprocated
all.
saw. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
I use it. You got to use it right. If you don't use it right, you'll cause sparks. You'll ruin your blade. Like
Hmm.
aluminum, right? Like the mechanical trainer at at Kimberly Clark. He was saying he was there hanging out, and next thing he's hearing, he's like, someone doing this, and he goes out, and they're trying to cut aluminum with the sawzall real fast.
Yeah.
Aluminum, it was
It doesn't
melting.
work.
He's like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
So you
Same
got to
thing. Yep.
know how to use it.
Yeah.
You
The
know?
aluminum melts and packs into the blade, so you're basically cutting it with a butter knife. It's
Yeah,
just good for nothing.
yeah. He goes, what are you doing? So
Yep.
he showed him how to use it just to get him out of there. But like, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
no sparks cutting. There's no sparks when you cut aluminum,
Yeah,
but it does melt and destroy your tools.
yeah. You got to slow and steady, right?
That's it, man.
Same thing with drills, right? You got to learn how to use it, right? Like
Yep.
metal. You got to go fast and oil your bit while you're cutting it.
Yeah.
You got to know these tricks. If you don't know these
Yep.
tricks, you're going to ruin your equipment.
Yeah.
So
Which I think,
I
like
think that was, okay.
Kimberly Clark, for instance, I think is a bad representation for how to learn how to use tools properly because they buy hundreds of drill bits at a time and
Hmm.
people don't know how to properly use them. Like I've had the same drill bits in my box for 3 years at Kimberly Clark, so I know how to drill properly. Then other people are going through 6 or 7 bits a week. I'm like, I don't know what we're doing differently,
Yeah,
but a lot of people
yeah,
don't understand or weren't trained properly. And then same thing, if your tool breaks,
yeah,
um, they replace your tool. When you're out on your own or doing side work and you
yeah,
break a tool, it's like, well, crap, dude, I didn't plan for this.
yeah. And that's what I find weird with the students I have. They keep losing tools, and I'm trying to tell them, like, look, it's called tool awareness. You got to think of this as your livelihood. This is your money maker. You're losing money,
Yeah.
and like they're not getting it. I'm like, so I'm trying to teach them tool awareness, and now I'm telling them, if you lose a tool, you got to buy it by Monday.
Now,
You know, just
did
making
you
them
just
feel it,
like, are
make them
you
feel the.
supplying them or
No,
they have a
they
list?
buy their tools. They got a list. Yep. Only thing I supply them is safety glasses and gloves. But I told them if they lose the first pair of gloves, they got to buy the second pair. Because they got to learn how to maintain their
Yeah.
equipment.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a
Yeah,
babysitter,
absolutely.
you know.
Right.
So I just got to
100%.
learn
That's a
tool
good thing.
awareness. Like you said, though, you got to learn about your equipment so you can make it last long.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
today, I was drilling holes to rigid because I'm making pipe racks with rigid,
Yeah.
and I'm oiling it like crazy so I don't ruin my bit. you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that's the way to go. Another good one that a lot of people don't understand or have never had to use it is uh, wax.
I never
Wax for cutting it.
thought of that.
Wax
All
for
right.
cutting and threading and tapping.
Keeps
Wax
it
is a great
cool.
component too. Keeps it cool and it'll melt into whatever you're doing. So I've used that a lot for
I've only
uh,
ever used oil.
drilling and
Okay.
drilling and tapping. Wax is very good for that too. You can take your mom's candle and it's gonna work great. It might smell good too.
You know what's great about that is that you don't have to worry about the oil all over the place.
Hmm.
When you use
Yeah,
oil, it's such a messy,
big mess. Yeah, big
big
mess,
time.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, candle you can just kind of like draw a circle, start there, and then I used to hold the uh, the candlestick to the drill bit.
Right.
As it would get hot, it would melt to the drill bit. So it's just self-contained. It grabs all the metal shavings. It makes like a
That's a
little ball of
great
mess, but
idea.
it's not all over the place. There's no oil cleanup or any
Yeah. I got to
exposed
try that.
chemicals. It's just
I'm
a
gonna.
candle, dude.
I'll try that because I got to do some more rigid pipe
Hmm.
hangers. All right, I'll try that.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it, dude.
So next thing I want to talk about is laser. Real quick, because I want to start. I need to end this because I need to get some sleep. Is the laser distance measures just quickly. Only
Yeah,
reason I'm recommending this is that it's good to have, tape measures. You always got to move from 25 feet just to get your full distance.
yeah, oh
If
yeah.
you're doing side work or whatever, you need real distance. Get this. I mean, they're getting cheaper. I just think it's
Get
a
the
valuable
like I say
tool.
it's a little pricey, but I think I can see it on there. The Milwaukee one.
Of
I
course.
I personally well, so I personally have one, and it shoots up to 150 feet accurately within I think a quarter inch of deviation.
Okay.
But you can also there's different settings on there. You can do area, you can do square footage, you can do cubic inches, cubic feet with it. There's a lot of different variables that they you can add and do dimensions with. So it makes doing a floor layout very easy, or getting like my living room, for instance, is not a true rectangle because I have a
Mm-hmm.
bump out and I have some other walls in the area. So you can
Mm-hmm.
shoot wall to wall, section to section, and have it add all your square footage for you. So you're not measuring and doing all the math. Like I've been
Oh.
out of high school for 15 years, so I'm not the best at geometry anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
that little laser tool, dude, it'll save everything you shoot. So I could shoot from here to the woods in my backyard, and I know it's 85 feet, and then I know that I could do 60 feet wide, and I can get the square footage of my property that way too. So it's
Wow.
retentive, additive, and you can do square footage, cubic feet. It's really a good tool to have. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's essential.
Right. It'll help you with estimating. Definitely side work,
Oh,
so you don't
dude,
go short
make
wire or short with
make
this
it
or
so much faster too. And then
yeah.
like say I don't know if you've done it, but I'm purely one of those guys. It's a measure twice, cut once type deal.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yeah,
measure
me too.
something. I get sidetracked very easily. I go down tangents very easily. I'll
Oh,
forget that
don't worry,
measurement.
we all could tell. Just kidding.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I'm
Keep
not
going.
offended by it. I know
All
it.
right,
I
all right.
know it. So I'll measure something. I'll go off on a tangent. I'll forget that number. I have to double
Yeah.
back and do it again. The Milwaukee one, again, I can't really advocate for the other brands because I don't know them, but the
Right.
Milwaukee one has retentive memory.
Okay.
So I know exactly what the number was to the, I think it goes down to 16th. I don't, maybe do, I think it actually does 64ths of an inch. So I
Really?
can get a
Whoa.
very minute number.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's very, yeah.
Whoa. There's not much that goes that close, you know.
No, it's very accurate. And they said over a
Uh,
long distance, it's a small deviation window,
I ain't
but
big
it's
though.
been a very
Ain't
great
big.
tool. I've used it. I've had it for 4 years now. I used it hundreds
Okay.
of times between
Okay.
my house, work, side jobs. It's a very good tool to have. And then
So
another one, a
yeah.
PLS laser, plumb level square laser,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what
huge.
they
I have
showed
one
in that
down in my
one
basement.
picture. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one in my basement right now to do all my wall layout for
Okay.
keeping all my walls square. Did
Okay.
my sill plate, did my top plate. It's great for job layout, keeping everything dead straight. That's another
Wow.
awesome tool to have. But
Wow.
they get expensive too.
Instead of level on a chalk line. Okay.
Or
Yep.
I had
I used to
I
do
used to use
chalk line.
a plumb bob, a plumb
Yeah.
bob.
Hmm.
I used to use those all the time. Like, man, this is old school.
Yeah. Yep. It still was kind of using it. Now, the next thing I think also would like to talk about is circuit tracers.
Sure.
Because I know, you know how it is sometimes. You're working alone.
Yeah, it's
So
terrible sometimes.
I'll just put a radio nice and loud and turn breakers off. That's how
Mhm.
I usually do it. But this would
Sure.
make it so much easier. Or when I first start residential, we put a switch together with the hot and neutral with the plug, and we turn. Yeah,
Breaker finder. It's the breaker
yeah.
finder.
That's when I first started work, and then I read about the breakers. The manual says it only could arc fault once, and you're technically supposed to replace it. So with
Yep.
that knowledge, I think it'd behoove us, if you're going to be staying in the industry, to buy a nice circuit tracer. I like the one we
Yeah.
use at work. I do. I'm getting better at that one. You know which one
They
at
are like
work? The idea.
ideal
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I
It
like
is a
that one.
very, very good tool, but for the
If you know
average
how to use it,
guy, like
you got to learn how to
that
use it.
kit, that kit that they do purchase, I don't know what it costs now, but it was like $1,700 to $2,200.
Ooh, I didn't know it was
So
that expensive.
it's not a cheap set to purchase. But if you have the
Gotcha.
money and you're in the troubleshooting field or you're using a similar device, it is a great tool to have. It is an expense. It is an investment.
Right, right. I can see that. It definitely is for that one. You could buy the cheap ones I just showed you if you wanted to.
Oh yeah,
They work just fine for
absolutely.
residential
Hmm.
comp. unless they're
And for me
unless they're
too, especially
through wire.
if I do side work in residential applications or in my own house, like I'll plug in um what's it called, my receptacle tester,
Yeah.
or I have alligator clips for my meter. I'll put it on the hot and neutral, and I'll just go through the breakers until I find it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell customers that, or I'll have my wife watch the meter or watch the
Mm.
plug for me.
Yeah.
Like yell when the light goes out.
Yeah.
For me,
Yep.
there's nothing in a house that's that important that it can't be turned off for 5 seconds.
Definitely if someone's going to
So
do electric work. Yeah.
I'll go right down the breaker panel.
Yeah.
And if I
So
can't
would I.
find it and the homeowner's out there, I'll shut the main breaker off. I'm not gonna get hurt because I can't find something. I'll just turn the breaker off.
Well, usually you're doing this to find the breaker to replace it or
Mm,
to
yeah.
do other work. That's why you're fine. Sometimes you need it for that reason. Um,
Yeah.
you know. So with that, you got anything else to add before?
Um,
Cool.
trying to think here. Uh, Brady label maker. That's a good one. I see you pop one up. It's great for everything. I know work wise, and my wife likes to buy these containers and label those containers of flour and breadcrumbs. So it's a good all around tool
Okay.
outside of the trades.
I use it a lot. I do. In fact, I'm using it now. At my where I'm teaching. I use it for. I'm making locks for all the students, teaching them lockout,
Sure.
tag out, and then also labeling the panels and
I'm
everything.
trying to
So
think. I'll be right back. I'll be off camera here.
that's fine.
But
I
you
use I
said that.
use Brady myself. I don't know what you're using, but I use Brady. They're hard to get labels, so I might replace it. I don't know
So
why it's so
I'll block
hard.
out. I have my phone number on here, but I use
Yep,
my
say it.
right there.
Oh,
I use
hold
that
on,
for
hold
that
on. Let me
exact reason.
transition. All right, now go ahead. All right, I see it now.
Yeah, so I have that. I use the same thing for my Brady labeler. I do my name. This is my company ID number, and then I have my cell
Hmm.
phone number on there too. So if you can't find me, I print the labels for that reason. It's blurring me out here on my background.
Yeah, I see it. Now you're good.
But I use it for that reason, and then I just right there.
All right, sounds good. Yeah.
So I use it for the same exact thing. So it's easily identifiable. It has my work ID number. It has my cell phone.
Hmm.
No way it can be messed up for somebody else.
Exactly, and it's easy to read. No one's handwriting.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Yep.
saying a label maker is a very good tool to use.
Well,
That's why I'm called
Kimberly
Mr.
Clark.
Labeler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Kimberly Clark's changing. They don't want anybody because like the lockout tagouts that they supply come with a handwriting side too, so you can write your information on it. They don't want people handwriting in anymore. They want them to use labelers to create a legible, permanent.
Okay, so it's finally taken over. All right, because I've been trying to get that for a while. Okay.
Well, I'm sure you've seen it too. You get to a lockout board and it's just a piece of paper with no name. It's like, all right, who do I call for this? I need this lock off. Who do I call? Or you do a lockout audit. It's like, okay, well, I don't know if this is George or if that's Dave's lock. I got no idea.
Yeah. And that's what I kept going to the PVMs, and I used to make labels for our guys before someone came and you know, kept
I should do the same thing. It's like, dude, I mean, I guess not a good outlook financially, but like it's not my money, and it's going to keep. Well, I guess it is a good move. It's a safety orientated scenario,
right?
So I would do the same thing. I print anybody that needed one or wanted one. I'm like, okay, I'll do the same thing, dude. It's gonna make my life easier, your life easier. It's gonna be safer. So it's a good tool to have.
Yeah,
but they're expensive, and the labels are expensive too.
Well, it's worth it though. It's worth it. Yeah, because it's there for a purpose, right? It's there to save someone's life.
That too, and like if you're outside of that too, like if you're doing commercial, industrial, electrical, or even plumbing, it's good for plumbing and stuff like that too. It looks a lot better printed out over handwritten. It's more legible. It's more permanent. It's just a more professional effect on your job.
It does. It makes you look good. It makes you want to. They probably want to hire you again because they know you have good quality work.
Absolutely. That's again the company I used to work for. Refer back to them. They used them all the time. Wires, panels, everything that you could do with that labeler, they did with that labeler, and it was super professional. Looked great. I felt better doing it that way too. It's like, man, okay, the guy behind me knows where to go for this.
Yeah. It just looks clean. Like the code says, good workman-like manner. That's what it says.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man.
All right. Well, that's all I have for all the stuff for today with the advanced stuff. So you got anything else to add, or you're good with that for now?
Maybe a precursor for next week or another topic. We've been disgruntled at work with corporations, but Kimberly-Clark announced that they're acquiring Kenvue.
Oh, nice.
Another corporation that's been, to me, they've been failing since they split from Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
But they've been doing all these restructuring. They called it a significant transformation on LinkedIn, stuff like that.
Yeah. Slapping
and
our
then
face.
They acquire a company for $48 billion.
Yeah.
But they don't want to buy us tools. They don't want to buy us food. They don't want. They cut so many things out of our livelihood and cut our health care, and then they accrue this other corporation for $48 billion, and they want us to be happy about it. It's like, well, hopefully things get better. But you made a lot of disgruntled people along the way.
But they don't care. Because they're getting paid.
No, they don't.
They got more money. They got more in their package. They gave more to the shareholders, which you said is for the shareholders. So
absolutely.
Everything, all the perks.
I commented on the page, the LinkedIn post that I saw that. Kimberly-Clark and I've had people at work like, hey man, that made my day. I'm like, dude, what? I'm not going to sit here and be disgruntled about it. I'm going to allow people to know that there's a couple hundred comments on there. Oh, congrats! This is such a great thing.
Oh,
good for Kimberly-Clark. It's like, dude, like you don't understand how many people were affected by this that actually make the product. Like this is great for shareholders. Sure.
Yeah.
It's terrible for the people that are making the product and making the money. It's like, dude, like this is not a good thing. Maybe in the long run, if you can bring some jobs back, maybe you can make the healthcare better, which isn't going to happen.
No.
It's only good for the shareholder. But you're making a lot of disgruntled employees along the way. You're cutting healthcare. You're cutting jobs. You don't want to give raises. Like there's not many good reasons to stay with the company anymore.
And it's
for me,
a shame.
I'm out. So
it's a shame because the product we make, a lot of people are like seasoned. They've been their grandfather, their great grandfather used that product.
Yeah.
And now you're destroying families who made that name. All it's going to do is make people not buy your product now. They're going to go to the third market now. Like I
Yeah.
was dedicated to Scott. Well, I'm sorry. Now I'm going to go to a third party because they don't take care of me. I won't take care of them. So,
For me, my entire life I was Charmin until I started working for Kimberly Clark and getting the defect product for free.
mm-hmm.
So right now it's weird too. So we make only Scott 1000 and 1100 at Chester, but they've been giving out Cottonelle. I have like 9 cases of Cottonelle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just I like that better than the Scott 1000 because
Yeah.
I feel like freaking sandpaper.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So that'll be next week. We'll talk more about. We'll go back to disgruntledness. We were happy. We're talking about the trades, having you guys come in. My
Yeah, and like
podcast is still doing that, but for Tech Train. But
well, yeah, say
let's
for
kill.
you,
I think we should kill these guys. I agree with you.
for me,
You know.
but again, you've touched on it on your podcast, so there's some good episodes to go back to for your personal page, people for them to go check out for you because you've talked about a lot of these subjects, but it opened up opportunities for you. It opened up opportunities for me.
Yep.
When you get uncomfortable,
Oh yeah.
don't be afraid to start over. There's
No.
better opportunities out there, much better opportunities. People that are going to treat you right, pay you right. They're out there.
You just gotta look.
So if it takes you being disgruntled and uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
go a different path, man. There's a lot of places to go.
Yep.
Don't be afraid. So that's another one we can talk about the opportunities that are out there, and don't be afraid to go
yeah,
for it.
and work-life balance. We should talk about that too.
Oh,
People
big time.
giving up their lives to help a company make money, and then knowing
Yeah,
they're not going to.
we both went down that rabbit hole and luckily saw that we were in the hole, so we were able to fix that before it became an issue. But a lot of people
Yeah,
don't, and they have 2 or 3 marriages and
that
2 kids
addiction.
that they don't know or see. So yeah, they chase the dollar, and the company doesn't care. So
No. So we'll talk about that next week. We'll be talking about
yeah,
disgruntled. We'll talk about the life balance and other things next week. So this is
yeah, man.
Shawn from Tech Train Solutions.
Jake Price does it.
And
I'm gonna start posting more. I've been slacking a little bit, so I got to post more, but we're getting there.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
Yeah, stay tuned.